Today we're going to be talking about keyword searching and how to set up your research. So I've taken the example of what can society do about car emissions as a beginning place to start. The first place we're going to search is Gale Student Resources, and it's very important to keep track of where you're getting information in case you have to go back to it. There have been many times where I've forgotten to do this step and I've been really in a bad place because I couldn't find information to put in a bibliography or find the information to remind myself exactly what it said. So now I try to always write where I'm getting the information. So we are interested in car emissions. I'm going to start with that as a search term rather than typing in the question, what can society do about car emissions? I just want to get a general sense about what's out there about car emissions and learn a little bit more about the topic, and then maybe I'm going to go back and add the word society, but let's start very general, just talking about car emissions. So within Gale Resources, I'm going to type car emissions, and you will see that I have found 983 news articles, and I wouldn't normally put this in my notes, but I want you to remember. So 983 in news and 253 magazines, and you'll see as we search, as I change up that search, we're going to come up with different search results, which is really the important part of this lesson. So you can see I've found things related to zero emission car sharing, whatever that means, zero emissions target. Here's one on Volkswagen, which is very timely. What may happen as I do my research is I find something that really rings a bell for me. So Volkswagen's been all over the news. That might be the direction that I take with this topic, but at this stage of researching, we don't know that. We're just gathering as much information as we can. Here's something on eco-friendly cars. That could be an interesting thing to search. As I read these descriptions, I'm not just going to go click all the way through. I'm going to read a little bit. But when I read these descriptions, other things are jumping out at me, like greenhouse gases and Environmental Protection Agency. These are other terms that I may search later on. But 983 news articles and 253 magazines is really too much to look through. So to narrow my search, I'm going to put it in quotes, because right now it's showing me every article that has the word car somewhere in it and the word emissions somewhere in it. I want these words placed together. So I'm going to search car emissions as a phrase by putting it in quotes. And it's going to now show me only 88 news articles. Remember, we had 983 before. And 21 magazines. So if I'm keeping track of what I'm finding here, and I type car emissions in quotes, I'll note that there was much less here. When I start reading some of these descriptions, I'm seeing things like car exhaust. That's really interesting because maybe we would find different things under that term. And maybe I'm going to put car exhaust in quotes if it gets too long. In fact, I don't know it's going to be too long yet, so I'm not going to put that there. Car pollution is another term that jumps out at me. So I'm going to be sure to search that too. We find. Now we have 493 and 139. So what we search, the terms that we use, are very important because we come up with totally different results depending on what we search. So what I would do as a researcher would be to start reading through some of these, look for the interesting ones. So again, I was interested, the one that caught my eye was Volkswagen. I'm going to type that in again. And I think I'll start with that article. You might want to start with a more general one on car emissions, wherever you want to start, whatever catches your eye. A research project should be interesting to you. So how does this work when we're on the internet? Of course we're going to put it in quotes because there's a lot more results there. I'm right in Google, and if I type car emission or emissions, I'm going to come up with 643,000 results. Of course, I'm going to want to make it more specific because I don't want to look through 643,000 things, and there's no guarantee that what's on top is what interests me. But if I did hook on to that Volkswagen idea, I can see there's a Volkswagen article right here. What if I say car pollution? I'll use another one of our terms. Remember, here there are 643 results. 643,000 rather. Now we're down to 215,000. So again, it's different searches bring different results. And as you go in, you look for broader terms and narrower terms, and maybe narrow down to a specific topic that really interests you. What is society going to do about Volkswagen? Can society do about companies that break the law regarding emissions? Might become my topic of interest. So get in there, play with the keywords, keep your eyes open, do some close reading, look for these different words, and be a detective. That's what research is all about. Try to have fun with it and relate it to something that interests you. And as always, if you have any questions, you can find me, Ms. Mannon, in the library, and I'm glad to help you through your searches.